It's 8 o'clock. I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, coming to you live from outside Nashville, Tennessee, home of saltwateraquarium.com's video filming on the road thing. See, I couldn't get it right last time. I'll try to get it right this time. Welcome everyone to the live stream. We're going to do some Q&A tonight. We got some giveaway winner announcement because if you missed the live stream on Sunday night, it was Sunday night. I'm sorry. We had some giveaways. If you tuned in, you would have got it. But hey, you never know. So, we'll do some giveaways. We'll have some Q&A time as well. If you got a question, fire it away in the comments below. I think it's to the side on Facebook. I will answer as many of those as I can. And you know what? Let's start. Someone had a question last time, so let's start by answering a question, which will lead into a giveaway, which everybody loves. Someone, don't remember who, if it was you, I apologize. Didn't write down your name, I should have. Asked, how many fish are in my 987-gallon step-down tank that's right behind me? And the answer was, I didn't know at the time. I actually didn't know. I was like, I should add that up. So I sat down, I counted what I had, and I haven't lost a fish, to give you some perspective. So everything I put in is still in there. So the grand answer was 48. And guess what? No one got it right. I checked all the comments. No one guessed 48. So we don't want to give a participation trophy to everyone because, hey, we're not into that. So we picked the next closest. The closest winner, really the second prize winner, let's call it that, guessed 49, and Jennifer B. Jennifer, I'm going to butcher your last name. I totally apologize. Jennifer Bedzarnik. Here we go. How's that, Jennifer? Jennifer, if that's you, email us, sales, here you go. I'll throw in a caption. sales@saltwateraquarium.com, and we will get you connected with your prize, which I haven't picked yet, so I'll make up something. And we'll get you taken care of. But you have to email us at sales@saltwateraquarium.com because we don't have a way to get a hold of you. So, if you're a winner, if we call your name tonight, everyone's winner, but if we call your name because you won, email us at sales@saltwateraquarium.com and say, hey, I won, my name is so-and-so, hook me up with a prize. So Jennifer Bedzarnik, again, I apologize, I'm butchering your name. I'm sure I am. How about this? You can send me an audio recording of how you say your name, and if you do it with a British or Australian accent, extra bonus, you get a second prize. All right, so this is a Q&A question. So again, fire off your questions. Those of you that missed the live stream on Sunday night, we were giving away 10. There's another giveaway right there. I'll come back to that. 10 $100 gift certificates to saltwateraquarium.com because, let's face it, I mean, this is saltwateraquarium.com's channel. This is our favorite place to have you shop is saltwateraquarium.com. Go shop there. We're giving away 10 $100 gift certificates. So if you're on the stream Saturday, Sunday, we talked about how you can win that. We will announce them today. How about I sprinkle them? Yeah. Let's sprinkle those out. All right. Remember, if you're a winner, then you got to email us at sales@saltwateraquarium.com to say, hey, I'm a winner, because otherwise we have no way to get a hold of you. And back to the 10 comment, we said 10 winners. The 10, for those of you that I asked you to name that movie, that was from Varsity Blues from the 90s when I grew up. That was, I wouldn't say my favorite movie, but there are lots of good movies from that time. That was definitely a high school movie for me. There, I'm dating myself. Who got that comment right? The first person that I saw to comment correctly was Nicholas Bobbitt. Nicholas, does anyone ever give you a hard time about your last name? I mean, there's the whole Bobbitt thing, but that was probably before most people's time. But this is a saltwater aquarium hobby, and they're like Bobbitt worm? I'm curious, how many times you get that, Nicholas? Let me know, and let us know that you're a winner. Sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Send us an email, Nicholas, and say, hey, I'm a winner. I won the Varsity Blues comment, and I'll get you hooked up. All right. So, we are giving away 10 $100 gift certificates tonight for people who shopped with us last week during the sale. Now, if you missed the sale, we'll do other ones throughout the year. So keep tuned in with us. Make sure you're on our email list so you'll know when we have a sale so you don't miss it next time. Okay, first, just because I got to give a shout out to Rico. Let me do my Rico impression here. Rico's Aquariums. Sit in front of my tank. There you go. Love you, Rico. All right, let's give away one of these 10 $100 gift certificates. First winner is Patrick Y. from Columbus, Ohio. Remember, Patrick, email us sales@saltwateraquarium.com and let us know you won. All right, let's take a question here. Let's scroll back up to the top. People wanted to know what fish was that. Actually, you know what? Let's go back to him because he's probably still hanging out in his little place. Here you go. There he is. What kind of fish is this? This is a blue spotted jawfish. These guys are a lot of fun and they need a place to burrow. Now, he set himself up this hole in the bottom of my drop-off tank, which I'm thrilled about. This is a fantastic place for him. It's really fun to see him down here at the bottom. He found this hole, but here's the key. Talk to a very accomplished aquarist about how to help these guys feel comfortable. They like having these little shells and rubble around them that they can pick up and move into their home. So if you're looking at one of these guys, make sure you have sand in your tank. Don't go bare bottom and put one of these guys in. They won't be comfortable. And then put these little shells in. Small empty snail shells, a little bit of live rock rubble. Well, there he goes. See, he's pulling something in there right now. Things that he can move around to make himself feel comfortable. So definitely do that. That will help that guy feel more at home. And a lot of success with these guys has to do with how they're collected and where you get them from. So I get all of my jawfish from Live Aquaria's Divers Den. They do a great job there at Live Aquaria. They do a great job to make sure that what animals that they're purchasing are collected correctly. So that's where this guy came from. Oh, there he goes. He's going to go and hide. He'll come out, he sticks his head out and goes back in. That is a blue spotted jawfish, for those of you that wanted to know. Great question. I love this guy. He is in the bottom, hey buddy, of my drop-off tank. His name is Mulligan. Kit, if you're watching, or Bob, or Mary Kay, you know why. All right. So, yes, that is a blue spotted goldfish. Jawfish. No goldfish. That's freshwater stuff. This is a saltwater channel. We do saltwater stuff because it's cool. Look how cool that is. You don't get that in a freshwater tank because they're just not that cool. Okay, let's fire away here at some questions because this is a Q&A session. Trevor says he was about to cast a jawfish up to the TV. I love it, Trevor. That would have been awesome. Oh, shout out to Matthew here. Matthew says he found this channel a few months ago and it's helped me a lot. Glad to hear that, Matthew. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching that. Okay. Let's see here. Lots of great comments tonight. So Trevor wants to know, that's a beautiful tank. Thanks, Trevor. Where did I get it? Planet Aquariums built this tank. They who I use for 99% of my builds. They build glass tanks. I trust them completely. They have tons of years of experience. Planet Aquariums built that tank for me. All right, Jack wants to know, how long do you have to wait for a new tank to have sea anemones? Any input would help. Can you see it? Here, Jack. Let's see if I can move things around. If everything gets disconnected, I apologize. I'll come back. Oh, there you go. Right over there, Jack. That is a Chicago sunburst anemone that I got from the Tank It Easy crew, Insane Coral crew. Brian and Tom up there in Chicago. Eat a Polish for me, buddy. Yeah. How long should you wait to put them in your tank? Great question. Here's the thing about sea anemones. And also with coral. Some people like, you should wait 6 months for a sea anemone or wait 3 months for corals. It's not like at the 3-month point or 6-month point, boom, something happens in your tank and then it's ready for sea anemones or for corals. To give you some reference, the tank behind me, has been set up now for 10 weeks. I put coral in here after week 2. So, how did I decide the tank was ready for coral? I just put some in and see what happened. What about sea anemones? It's a little bit of the same thing. Now, let me put this in context. If you're new to the saltwater tank hobby and you think sea anemones are cool, awesome. Don't go there just yet. Hold your horses, hold your seahorses, and come back to it in about 6 months. You want to get your feet wet in the hobby. You're going to make some mistakes. It's part of it. You don't want to do that with the sea anemone because A, are delicate creatures and they're not very forgiving, unlike coral. Some corals are very forgiving, so if you're a newbie, yeah, I would wait 6 months. It's not going to hurt you. Make those mistakes, get those newbie mistakes out of the way. If you're an experienced reef keeper, your tank is set up. Look, I would have no problem putting a bubble tip anemone, a strong one, a good specimen, put it in your tank after a month. See what happens. This guy went in the tank after 6 weeks, and it's been doing great. However, I've got lots of years of experience. I kind of knew what to look for, and I had somewhere to move it if he didn't suddenly started doing well. So if he wasn't doing well, I could pick him up somewhere, put him somewhere else in a tank that was more established. If this is your first tank or your only tank, I would wait longer. Jack, there's really not a straight definitive answer on that one. A lot of it's just kind of feel. Taking your time certainly is going to hurt, especially when it comes to the saltwater tank hobby. All right, let's see here. Oh, Gary wants to know what kind of lights am I running on the new tank. So this tank has the Neptune Systems skylights on them. I am testing those with them. They're going through some beta testing. I am with a group of other people the point is to get them out there and see what happens, because you can test things in a lab or in the manufacturer, but you got to get it out there in the real world to find things that you might not have thought of. So Dustin wants to know, oh, you know what? Let's give something away. All right, let's go back to another one of these. This is the second of our 10 $100 gift certificates for saltwateraquarium.com because, let's face it, our favorite place, again, for you to shop is saltwateraquarium.com. Remember, if I call your name tonight, if you're a winner, then make sure that you email us, sales@saltwateraquarium.com, and let us know that you're a winner. All right, second winner of the $100 gift certificates. Wow. A whole school run. One. How are you going to give away a gift certificate to a whole school, Ken? That's the boss's job to figure out. All right. Madison Public School from Madison, Nebraska. With a Chicago accent for Nebraska there. Madison Public School from Madison, Nebraska. Whoever you are, if you're a teacher with a class or whoever submitted that, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Let us know. If I'm assuming that there's some kind of marine studies program there at Madison Public School in Madison, Nebraska. If so, that's cool. I want to hear about it. Put it on my tab, Ken. We'll throw in some extra stuff on me. That's awesome. All right, so let's roll into another one. Third winner of the $100 gift certificate at saltwateraquarium.com, Jose S. from Doral, Florida, where it's really warm and everyone's on spring break having a good time, and the beach isn't a bad place to be. All right. So, two winners there. Madison Public School gets one $100 gift certificate, and Jose S. from Doral, Florida, the Sunshine State, home of orange juice and other things. You're the third winner tonight. So if we haven't called your name yet, don't worry. There's seven more chances. This is hard backwards. 7 more chances for you to win. Don't give up yet. You could be a winner. All right. Great. Let's see here. Kimberly says she just got an Elegance coral. Any advice? So, hard to see in the camera here, but I have 2 Elegance corals. There's actually 3. 2 are over there. 1 is here. Advice on Elegance. All right, Kimberly. 1, I like them in sandy bottom tanks. I haven't had success with them in a bare bottom tank. I like them in a sandy bottom tank. Some people, some experienced reef keepers that I know, recommend feeding your Elegance, and they feed them pellets, and they say they actually eat them pretty well. The Elegances that I've had have never eaten pellets. I have found that they didn't eat anything, but if you want to try that, you can finally chop up some mysis or feed them pellets and see what you get. They need a fair amount of flow. You don't want to beat the snot out of them, but have it so their tentacles are moving around. And keep an eye on your calcium. Some reefkeepers say that when they had issues with their Elegance is when there's a calcium swing. So keep an eye on your calcium. Try to keep that as stable as possible. For those of you that have a Neptune Systems Trident, that's very easy for you. You always know what's going on with your calcium levels. Huh. Hey, Megan says she was a senior in high school and Varsity Blues came out. I don't know if I was a senior, Megan, but look at that. Someone who's in my same age bracket thing, for what that's worth. Next stop for us, AARP card. All right. Matthew wants to know, how many tanks do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Why 10 tanks? One, well, there's this one. And I also have my old holding tank. For those of you who've been watching us for a while, you saw that old tank that I never scraped the front pane. That's still with me. That's set up as I'm holding a client's fish because his fish all had ick, even though his maintenance guy swore that they were quarantined. So I'm treating those fish. I'm also holding out some of the other fish in my old 450-gallon tank before I put them in this tank. For example, my Roland's Damsels, which is a great damsel. I did a show on them over the saltwateraquarium.com channel. Those guys need to go in dead last. The last fish to go into the tank. They're a territorial damsel, but they're not mean towards other fish. They're just kind of like, hey, this is my territory, leave me alone. They all stake out their like 1 foot by 1 foot area. And I want them to come into a tank that's already established so everyone has their communities and the damsels get to kind of get what's left over. This is not like yellowtail damsel that are really mean. Those Rolands are actually fairly placid. They're pretty peaceful, but I want them to go in last. So I actually had those in different holding tanks. That's one of the reasons I have 10 tanks. I'm also quarantining fish for clients, quarantining inverts as well. So really, Matthew, I would love to get down to 1, just this tank. But every time I get close to doing that, someone wants me to quarantine fish or inverts. And you know what? It's part of the job. I'm happy to do it. Look at that. Seashay Steve. Steve says, greetings from Seashay headquarters. Speaking of Seashay, one of the pumps that I think is vastly underappreciated in the hobby. They're little STC pumps we use on the Mega Matrix tank. We also use one on the Red Sea tanks. I have one of them on my Coral holding tank as well. Very reliable pump that has some nice Wi-Fi capabilities. There's an app for it that you can control it with. I also use some of their smaller pumps for feeding calcium reactors and media reactors. I have them in one of my holding tanks, the water box. It's pumping water from the back to the front. They work really great, and they won't break your bank as well. Huh. All right, so let's do another giveaway. Oh, look at this. For another $100 gift certificate, remember, if you win, sales@saltwateraquarium.com, email us, let us know that you won, because we have no way to get a hold of you. Even though we'd like to reach out and touch you, it doesn't work that way. Jeffrey S. from Brooklyn, New York. He's from Brooklyn. That's awesome. I feel like some pizza, or D. If you know D from Brooklyn, let me know. That's cool, Jeffrey. Jeffrey S. from Brooklyn, from the city. Let us know, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. All right. So if you haven't won yet, there's 6 chances left. It's not over yet. I can't say that. That might mix someone up. Okay. Let's see. Nick, with one of my favorite questions. This one's always great. Nick wants to know, he's setting up a new scape, which means he's setting up a new aquarium. Congrats, Nick. Hopefully you're upgrading. The best reason to get a bigger tank, or when you're moving, that's the best time to upgrade. Rock before sand. Is it wise to add a couple of rocks on top of the sand for jawfish gobies? Okay, 2 questions there. Rick, number 1. I put down the sand, and then I put down the rock. The key is I put the sand down, and then I push the rock down into it. That way the sand provides some support, and it also looks more natural to me. It's also a pain in the tail to put the rock in the tank, and then put your sand in, because inevitably the sand ends up all over the rock. Then you got to blow it off, or it's just annoying. So sand first, then rock. The key is to push your rock down into the sand. Now, adding a couple tiny rocks on top of the sand for jawfish gobies. Yep. Calcium reactor media, like the reborn stuff, that's great. Small shells, you don't want something big. Something that they can move around, build a little cave for themselves. That will make them feel very comfortable. All right. So, what? The boss is asking questions. All right, Goalie Mask from Design at Will. Ooh, that's an interesting name. wants to know, what do I think is the best upgrade for new tanks? Okay, so I'm not quite sure the question on that one, Goalie Mask. Follow up with that and let me know what exactly you mean. I'm not clear exactly on what you're talking about. Oh boy. All right, we'll do this one, Mark, and then we're going to go to a giveaway. Oh, here's a little teaser. The next person who won is from Virginia. And it's, okay, Mark wants to know. He's moving a 120-gallon tank. By the way, 120-gallon tank is a fantastic size tank. Most of them are 4 feet long, 2 feet front to back, 2 feet tall. Great size tank. You get a lot of mileage out of it. If you're thinking about a 75 for your first tank, if you got room for the 120, absolutely do it. So Mark's got to move his tank from one home to another. Any tips? A couple of them, Mark. I've done it lots of times. First, understand your tank and what's in it is not going to be happy with you. Therefore, if you have sensitive fish, the best thing you can do is take them out and put them in another tank until you get the new one set up. Now, if you're moving the 120 into the new house and you're setting it back up again, I don't know why you'd want to do that. Moving is a great time to upgrade. Get the tank set up, wait a little bit, and then put that sensitive fish in there. Now, your coral, if you have really nice corals that you really like and you want to keep, especially like SPS, frag a couple pieces, put them in different tanks in your area, buddies' tanks, somewhere that they can stay safe. So if you lose your mother colonies, then you can go back to those frags and pull frags to restart your tank. Especially if you have bigger colonies of SPS, they're probably not going to make the move. They may completely die. They may partially bleach out. So the best thing you can do, put some frags in other people's tanks. If you have sensitive other, like whole colonies, like LPS that you really like, take it out, put in someone else's tank. That way you don't have to risk it in the move. And if your move goes slower than expected, because it always takes longer than you think, you're not stressing about having to get that coral back in the tank, getting the tank set up. It gives you time. If you got your sensitive stuff down in there, and be like, all right, you know what? I moved the tank. I'm tired tonight. I'm going to start setting it up tomorrow. That's great, as opposed to rushing and try to get it all done that night, making mistakes, or putting something in there and you want to change something, but you can't do it because you're in a rush because you got to get it set up. You want to say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Awesome. You going to bed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sounds great. How about you run the stream? I'll go to bed.
No.
No? Okay. All right. So the next giveaway, you want to win a gift? Bridger, do you want to win a gift certificate to saltwateraquarium.com?
Yes.
You don't even like fish tanks.
No.
Oh.
Denver.
Oh. All right. So the next winner of, this is the 5th winner. We're halfway through this with this one. Chris M. from Manassas, Virginia, outside the capital of the United States. Chris M., make sure you email us, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Let us know that you won. Congrats on that. Anyone see that screw next to the jawfish? Not a screw, Jameson. Let's switch cameras. It was... Yeah, see? Someone was asking about shells earlier. Check out all these shells that he's added in since the beginning of the stream. He's moved these in, he moves them out, he moves them in. At night, he tends to move them in. No screw here. We had a conch fighter that was moving through, but no screw in the tank. Hey, buddy, you're the talk of the town tonight, Mulligan. Congrats, buddy. You're the bomb. All right. So, great question. What? Sean says, #Mark Challenge. Tennessee is way too hot. Come to Michigan to see the real deal corals and snow. All right, Sean. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, okay? Tennessee is not hot, period. When you can walk outside at midnight and it's 92 degrees, that's hot. You don't even have to dry your car there when you wash it. Most of the time, you can't even dry it because as soon as you spray it off, the water evaporates off. That's hot. Tennessee is not hot. Michigan, way too cold, period. If it's under 50, it's too cold. I would die if I went to Michigan. You can keep it, buddy. Send me pictures of the snow. I love snow. It looks great in photos. I don't want to deal with it. I'll keep Tennessee in my tank. You keep Michigan. I love it. All right. Jacob wants to know, does automation make reefers fall out of love with the hobby or make them more of a lazy reefer? Great question. All right. One thing about automation, a lot of people feel like it's going to take them away from their tank. And I found this to be absolutely not true. Now, any automation, any piece of equipment at some point is going to break or need repair or need upkeep. Even that's fun to me. If your automation is breaking down, you're having issues with it, okay, yes, it takes you away from the tank. That's not a lot of fun. However, I've had very good success with automation I have on my tanks, and I found that if I don't have to do things on the tank, then I can spend more time doing what I want to do with my tank, as opposed to having to do something because I don't have it automated. So calcium reactors, dosing, auto top off, even now testing, I love it. It's fantastic. It gives me the option to do what I want to do with the tank, and some of that time is wanting to fiddle with the automation. But if I don't want to do that, I don't have to do it. If I don't want to test my tank's water, I still like to do that manually, but I can do it automatically. It gives me the option, and that's great, as opposed to saying, oh, I have to go do this. If I don't do this, my tank is going to fall apart. All right, let's give away another $100 gift certificate here. We're from Brian W. from Goleta, California. Where is that, Brian? Remember, Brian, email us, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Brian W. from Goleta, California. Grab yourself an In-N-Out burger. Yorkman, if you're watching, hurry the hell up on the house remodel. We have to build you a tank. If you're in California and you're watching the stream while you're driving, don't do that. But if you're like, hey, you're in California, it's 6:27 there, you're going to grab an In-N-Out burger, send me a photo of it. Let me see. I'll send you something special as well. Okay. Oh, Goalie Mask is back with clarification from his question. Thanks for the clarification, Goalie Mask from Designs at Will. Awesome. I'm back to reefing after 15 years off, wondering if getting a larger sump or auto wave should be my priority. All right. Two completely different things there, Goalie Mask. Here's the thing about sumps. No one ever complains because they have a larger sump that gives them more room to work in. The complaint comes in when it's a small sump, everything is packed in there, and it's a pain in the tail to work in. Case in point, my GC, who built the addition that I then put this tank in, and he actually helped put the tank in as well because he's a super cool guy. He got a new tank, 120-gallon tank. Before he had a 90-gallon tank. The sump on the 90-gallon was very small. Everything was packed in there. Getting even the meaty reactor out, getting the skimmer cup out was a pain in the tail. Now that he has a larger tank, his sump is much, much bigger. It's actually outside the stand of the tank. It's so big. He's loving it. It's very simple to work on the sump, get around the sump, because he has all that space. So giving yourself a best foot forward like that, Goalie Mask, giving yourself a bigger sump. I like the biggest sump that I can fit under the tank. If your sump has to be under the tank, you're not going to complain about having the extra space. Absolutely not. All right, let's do another giveaway here. Woo! He survived, hopefully. Jeremy E. from St. Helens, Oregon. Some couple of West Coasters here back to back. Jeremy E. from St. Helens, Oregon. Remember, email us, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Let us know that you are a winner. Oh, look at that. Someone gave us... Speaking of automation, I love it. Gary, you're putting perfect question right in front of me right now. What do I think is good to add to an Apex EL on a 50-gallon tank? All right, Gary. First of all, good call on the Apex EL, setting up automation even on a 50-gallon tank. Having temperature automation, temperature control with your heater, chiller, hopefully you don't have a chiller, on and off, keeping an eye on things, being able to look at your tank at any given time, know what's going on, and get alerts if something goes wrong. Fantastic, even on a 50-gallon tank. All right, Gary. One nice thing I really like that Neptune brought out a couple years ago is their ATK, their auto top-off kit. I used to use other auto top-offs, which worked pretty well. However, one great thing about the ATK plugged into your Apex is if you enable logging on your top-off pump, then you can see that your top-off is actually working. Otherwise, if you're not there, you don't know if your top-off's working other than all of a sudden someone calls you and says, hey, there's a bunch of air bubbles blowing in the tank. What's wrong? You're like, oh, auto top-off isn't working. With the Apex, I can go in there and I can see that my client's top-off pumps are actually running. This is really nice. It gives me a nice way to look into my tanks and look into my own tank. When I'm away, I don't have to ask the wife to go clean the eye on and top off or put water in the tank manually because I know that it's already going. So if you don't have the ATK, Gary, go ahead and grab that. I'm sorry. Everyone keeps asking me, what am I going to do on OnlyFans? I'm the wrong gender for OnlyFans. Okay, that's a bit of a stereotype, but like, look, I don't think it would fly. Maybe it would, but I got to pass on that one. All right, let's do another giveaway. $100 giveaway at saltwatercream.com. $100 gift certificate. You can use it on whatever you want. Melissa asked from Gilbert, Arizona. See, we're talking about places where it's warm. Gilbert, Arizona, it's warm there. It's really warm there. They always have, when I lived there, they have a contest. Pick the first day that it was 100 degrees or more. They had the radio stations, when people used to listen to radio stations. Pick the first day that it was 100 degrees, and they would do a giveaway. And then what they would do is they would park a black car in the sun, and they would fry an egg on the hood of the car. That's how you know it's hot. None of this Tennessee hot like people from Michigan think. It's not that hot. All right. Mike wants to know how to know when to replace your pH probe. Great question, Mike. If it's completely dried out for a long time, I don't risk it. I just go ahead and replace it. Also, if it's an existing probe, what I will do is I will try to calibrate it. If it doesn't calibrate correctly, then I go get a new probe. One thing that I like to do on my probes is once every 2 years, just go ahead and replace them. It's preventive maintenance. This is much easier for me than waiting for one of them to die and cause issues. So if it's really old probe that's been in storage and it's dried out, I get rid of it. If you calibrate the probe and it won't calibrate, then I get rid of it. And every 2 years, I just go ahead and replace all my probes. Great question. All right. We've got two $100 gift certificates to saltwatercream.com to give away. Let's give away one more right now. I think it's got to be Texas. Zane B from Bryan, Texas. Zane, if that's you, sales at saltwatercream.com. Congrats. You're the winner. All right, we got one more to do, but we're not going to do that just yet. All right. Awesome. This is a great question. This makes me happy that someone is asking this question. Yak, who actually has a yak avatar. I'm curious, do you keep yaks or do you just like yaks? Yak wants to know, what's the average length you should keep your fish in the tank around quarantine tank, so you know. What's the average length you should keep your fish in your quarantine tank until you're comfortable moving it into your main system? Fantastic question, Yak. I love it. Number one, I quarantine all the fish that go into my tanks. Now, I don't quarantine them all myself. Some of them I do. Sometimes I will buy pre-quarantined fish from live aquaria, bring them in and monitor them. Just keep an eye on them. Also, I buy fish from TSM Aquatics. The crew over there, Don and Ray and the whole crew, Matt over there in New Jersey, just over the Pennsylvania line from Philly. They do a really good job with quarantining fish as well. So, if I'm quarantining a fish myself, what do I do, Yak? Number one, I match them to the right size quarantine tank for the fish. For example, let's say I'm going to quarantine my blonde Naso over here. She's about 6 inches now. She's going to go in a 55-gallon tank if I wanted to quarantine her. The key there is I want it 4 feet long so she feels comfortable. This is a larger fish. She needs room to swim around my melon, and therefore I'm going to want a longer tank. Now, let's say I'm quarantining one of these Midas blennies over here. These guys are smaller. I'm happy putting them in a 20-gallon high or a 20 long. If you have a 40-gallon breeder, that's fine too. I'm not going to put one of these things in a 10-gallon tank or a 5-gallon tank. Not interested in that. So first I get the size of the fish, match it to the right. I already got mosquitoes. Right size tank. Then I put them in there and I watch them. Put them in the tank, give them a couple days to settle in. I want to get them eating. I'm going to try different foods with them. I want to have them eating consistently. Then I start prophylactically treating them for the two big diseases that I'm most concerned about, marine velvet and ick. Don't want either of those in my tank. If you have marine velvet, everything's probably going to die before you know you have it. Definitely don't want that. So I quarantine prophylactically against marine velvet and ick with Seachem's Cupramine Copper. The key with Cupramine is you want to buy the Seachem test kit that comes with it. That way you make sure you're getting the right copper test for the right copper medication that you're using. We sell it both at saltwateraquarium.com, which is our absolute favorite place for you to shop online. Saltwateraquarium.com. Right there you can get Cupramine and the copper test kit. All right, yeah, so then I go get my copper up to the right amount, which is 0.5 milligrams of milliliters. I think they double check that on the label. I always forget. I'm going to ramp it up over the course of 5 days. I go slow. The instructions say 2 days. Just go ahead and do it over 5. Ramp the thing up to the right dosage. And then once it's at the right dosage and everything is still eating and seeming happy, 14 days of copper treatment at the dosage that the manufacturer recommends. Then I do a big water change. I run carbon on the tank to get that out of there. At that point, I'm now watching the fish for 2 weeks. I'm just keeping an eye on them. Are they putting on weight? Are they still eating? Do I not see any outside diseases on the outside of them? I want to keep an eye on that. Just also, this is the time for me to work with the fish. I want to get them used to me. They know when I walk in the room that's food time, most likely, so they get conditioned to that. They also get used to the food that I'm feeding them. If they're not eating at this point, I wouldn't have even started copper medication. But if they're going on and off foods, then I'm going to try different foods. I want that fish as comfortable as possible. I also want them putting on as much weight as possible before they hit the display tank. Look, you put in a new fish, unless it's something big, even if it is something big, because it could be the victim of aggression. All of a sudden you put a fish in this tank and there's all this new territory and all these fish swimming around. If we did this to you, you'd be a little probably freaked out as well. You might want to just kind of hunker down a little bit and hide. You're not so curious in eating because you're trying to find your way around. This is one of the reasons I like to quarantine. The fish is used to the food that I'm feeding, and they've already got some weight on them, so if they don't get to eat for a day or two because they're kind of finding their pecking order in the tank, they're okay because they've already got that body mass that they can lean on. So, great question. 30 days is my minimum time, but during those 30 days, I have a progression that I take them through to get them used to me and to prophylactically treat against diseases. All right, last giveaway of the night. Actually, let's do the recap. It's like a top 10 list. Let's do the recap before we move on to number 1. In no particular order, these are the 9 people who have won so far. Remember, if you're a winner, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Email us. Let us know you won. Patrick Y. from Columbus, Ohio. Madison Public School from Madison, Nebraska. Remember, Madison, let us know that you won. I have an extra bonus for you. Jose S. from Doral, Florida. Jeffrey S. from Brooklyn, New York, from the city. Man, it really makes me want a pizza, but only a New York pizza. I'm sorry, Chicagoans. Just not a fan of the deep dish. Someone's going to rail me for that, but much more of a fan of thin crust from New York. I need to go to the city. It's been too long. Next winner, Chris M. from Manassas, Virginia. Make sure you email us, sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Brian W. from Goleta, California. Jeremy E. from St. Helens, Oregon. Melissa S. from Gilbert, Arizona, where it is actually really hot. Zane B. from Bryan, Texas. And the final winner tonight of the $100 gift certificates to saltwateraquarium.com, the best place, period. Shop online, not that I'm biased. Saltwateraquarium.com. The last winner for the evening is Kyle F. from Plymouth, Michigan. Look at that. There you go, Michigan. Being represented tonight, where it's really freaking cold up there. You all think it's hot in Tennessee. I think it's freaking freezing in Michigan. That whole like ice fishing thing and like owning a snowblower. Now me, you can have it. Send me photos. Don't want any piece of it. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not my flavor. Different strokes for different folks. That shirt's available too at saltwateraquarium.com. You can have it at Kyle F. from Plymouth, Michigan. You're the final winner tonight. Make sure you email us at sales@saltwateraquarium.com. Let us know that you won, so that we can keep you, get you your prize, and you can do some fantastic shopping over at saltwateraquarium.com. All right, there you have it, everyone. Thanks for being with me on a Monday evening. It is 8:40. I'm going to sign off for tonight. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your tanks. It's getting to be spring. But don't forget about your fish tank. It loves you. It will miss you if you go outside too much in the summer. That's why you should live in Michigan, where it's too cold to ever go outside. And in the summer, where it's kind of warm, you got mosquitoes the size of pickup trucks that will literally eat you alive. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you next time. Remember to email us if you're a winner, sales@saltwaterquarium.com.